that's a lot of fun. And yeah, well, I was on my way to the adventure. Because what happens when we stay stuck in the problem, but it's a great question, is that the universe doesn't want you to live in the problem. You know, when you were a baby born, you didn't say, there's a problem with me. You said, my feet are cool, my hands are cool, I'm cool, and it's not like that baby over there has better hair, I don't know. So we felt really good about who we were. And so the universe wanted so much for me to wake up that I started having this lovely experience with the police officers. And I was arrested once, and I got off. It was a long, it wasn't yesterday. And then I was arrested again. And then the third time that I had a drinking and driving arrest, it was Palm Sunday. And like I say, it wasn't last year, it was 29 years ago. And the one way I felt really good about myself is I made it to the Episcopal Church on Sunday. I just sneak in there, and I thought, if I'm doing this, then I'm not as crazy of a person as I kind of know I am. But, So I was hiding, living a lot of the problem. And when I sat in that jail cell, and I woke up on Palm Sunday, and I thought, I don't think I'm going to church. and I had this experience of, my parents, who I always blame, aren't in this cell with me. My friend Gretchen, is Gretchen here today? I was laughing because I have a friend named Gretchen, and there's a Gretchen here in this congregation. I blamed her for making me drive. It's always somebody else's fault. But it seemed like I was the only one in the jail cell. So it started to occur to me that this was my problem. That I was living in this problem. And I'd love to say that that's what had me quit drinking, but it wasn't. It was because of a loving judge that suggested that I go to a probation program and then the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, where on the wall it said, we'll love you until you can love yourself. And I thought, boy, these people have a lot of work to do. But through that incredible sense of unconditional love, 6 weeks later I came into a Unity Church in Austin, Texas, and it was that same experience of, I am one with life. I thought I was separate from life. I thought I had to drink the pain of life away. And I learned in these rooms, because what I did get in these rooms is how to sit with pain, how to meditate. I never meditated. And we meditate during the service. And I was able to listen to people's inspirations, and they were able to listen to mine. And it was truly one day at a time with this experience. But I started to feel like the light of God that is within all of us started to shine. I started to not feel like I had to hide, that you all kept saying, we love you just the way you are. And I said, you sure? But it wasn't. I had to keep being with this. And then the problem didn't stink anymore. And it has been one day at a time, because all we have is right now, 1 minute at a time. That's why it's so great to focus on this path. Because I don't know what the future is going to be, and even the beginning of this talk is over, right? It's gone. Never happen again. And to me, that's fascinating to really know that this is what we're doing right here and right now. The other problem that we can do is accolades. Because if you're not an addict, and if you look at your family system, you've probably got, and you may be the one, that's the perfectionist. Or, always got the good grades, and always, oh, you're so nice, and always ask Lois to do it, she'll do everything. She saves the world, right? And Lois is pretty tired. And so the other thing that can happen in our culture is this way of accolades. And there was a bobsled team from Jamaica that made it, did you all know, and they went to the Olympics, right? And one of the guys, I talked to the coach before the race, and he said, I'm going to be so embarrassed if we go back to Jamaica and we didn't win the award. And the coach said to him, if you don't like yourself without an award, you're not going to like yourself with an award. And I think one of our brothers, American brothers, proved that to us. It's Lance Armstrong. Right? And I mean, God bless him, that it wasn't okay just to run a race or to ride a race. It was all about the medals. To the depth of his soul, to the depth of his joy. And if I was interviewing Lance, I would have said, how did we create this? How did our culture create this for you? What happened to you as a kid? What the heck's wrong with you? I would have said, how did you forget who you are? How did you forget who you are? Because I know you're more than this. And it was so sad to watch him kind of in like shock of looking at his old videos. I was sort of like, who is that guy? And I understand. I'm glad I don't have any mugshots of me this time I got arrested. So we just have to know that there's no way that addiction or acolytes is the way to the adventure. You know, the adventure is how you're born to live. And when we live an adventure, it will feel free, it will feel scary, it will be risky. But are we willing to risk to be happy? Are you willing to risk to be happy?
Yeah.
Yes. Right, exactly. Yay, you. Yes. And are you willing to risk to be, you all are in an incredible journey right now. You're in a journey of, I don't know the future. But welcome to life, right? I don't know the future. And so you all are practicing the presence of this process, which is to allow yourselves to draw to you the right and perfect minister. I mean, they won't be perfect, but they'll be perfect for you. And so the idea is, and for myself also, it's just showing up. And to let yourselves not feel like you've got to make any decision. It's just that you're going to allow yourself to have the process, allow yourself to have the adventure. It's hard for me because when I lived in that sense of scarcity and addiction, I wanted to grab onto things. You know, I felt like life was this thing I had to, there wasn't enough, so I had to grab on. And what we're inviting us all ourselves to do in life of adventure is to, I have a license plate, my license plate is allow. Allow life to show me. And you will know. It will happen. Like this song just appeared. It will happen. It will be so clear. And what's so important for you all in this sense of adventure is that you just stay connected to the joy of this community. What does this community mean to you? Because community is everything. Where two or three are gathered, there is a greater perspective of wellness and of life and of truth. And we are not strangers, none of us. I have the blessing of meeting Luis yesterday, and he is a new attendee, and he's a sweetheart. Anyway, so we met, I was shopping, okay, I mean, what else do you do on Fillmore Street? And so I went in and I was shopping, and we were talking, and he started sharing with me about his journey, his spiritual journey, and we both got teary, and he said, I can't believe I'm talking to a complete stranger. I said, I'm not a stranger. I'm you, and you're me. And this is how unity is. You know, we're one in this sense of unity. And isn't that great? Yes. Isn't it wonderful to know you're not alone? I mean, what a deal. And when I feel like I'm alone, I know I'm telling myself a lie. And I felt alone a lot as a young person, but I'm not alone today. And it breaks me up. It makes me cry because I'm really grieving a life that I didn't know was there for me. You know? And we're all ministers in our life of adventure. And do know that you don't get perfect to do this. You don't have, oh, now I have all the answers, and so now I will go out and do my thing, or I'm at the perfect shape, so now I'll go on a date, or whatever, right? So what we do is we do it anyway. Now, we got to look at our teachers. You know, Myrtle and Charles, did they know what they were, you know, like they've got this plan for this hierarchy of unity? Hell no, excuse me. But no, they didn't. They were inspired by these teachings. They were inspired that I saw today, your magazines was called The New Fillmore. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're the new Fillmore. We're the next level of consciousness. And so Charles at 90-ish said, you know, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do what is mine to do. And Myrtle, you know, who had disease, was in the problem, right? Just said, you know, I don't inherit sickness. Oh yeah, I could have had V8. I don't inherit sickness. So that's a great thing to know. I don't inherit sickness. My parents, my family may have been from this consciousness, but that's not me. You know, and how do I break away from something that doesn't enthuse me anymore? So our teachers didn't know, and one of my favorite teachers is Helen Keller. I mean, my heavens, right? And Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure or what?
Nothing.
It's nothing at all. And since we know it's not nothing at all, it has to be a daring adventure. And this woman couldn't see, couldn't hear, couldn't speak. And personally, I think, no wonder she had great insight. Because it's easy to get distracted with all the things you can see, the new dresses, but God bless her, that she was able to sit with her pain and allow her adventure to be revealed to her. So I am just so honored and blessed and inspired by your community. It's a beautiful place here. I love the West Coast. It's so much fun. I must quit shopping all the time. But this street is really wonderful. But it is I really just bless you in your knowingness of the truth that sets you free. Because your life is not a problem. It is an adventure to be lived. And I love Mark Twain's quote that we can, end with here. And Mark Twain, of course, is from the Midwest. He says, "Sing like no one's listening, love like you've never been hurt, dance like no one's watching, and live like it's heaven on earth." Love you guys.